After taking Mr. Anderson to the art gallery and having a very direct conversation with him, I pretty much made the decision to put my hands up and stay in my lane. And what I mean by that is simple. No more going back and forth. No more trying to convince him. No more trying to explain my perspective over and over again. At that point, I decided to let him do his thing. I made it clear that if he ever needed guidance, had questions, or simply wanted to discuss an idea, my door remained open. Beyond that, I felt it was important to allow him the space to develop his own process and find his own voice. Now, I did notice a slight shift during the meetings that followed, especially when both of our teams came together. I'm not going to sit here and say everything suddenly became perfect. There were still moments of tension. There were still times when I could tell there were thoughts crossing his mind that he wanted to express. But to his credit, he kept his composure. There were moments when I expected him to be more outspoken, perhaps even challenge something being discussed, but instead he remained measured and chose his words carefully. What I found even more interesting was watching the interaction between our teams. His team seemed much more comfortable engaging with my team. They began sharing feedback more openly regarding different pieces of art, different creative concepts, and even future collaborations. Discussions that once felt guarded started to feel more productive. Conversations expanded beyond art and into other projects, operations, and opportunities that we would eventually work on together. Now, I will say this. One thing I find fascinating about Mr. Anderson is that for all the talking he does, for all the opinions he shares, and for all the strong ideas he seems to have, he has yet to produce a single narrative about art. Not one. And that's interesting to me. Because while I've listened carefully to his critiques, his perspectives, and even some of his frustrations, I still haven't seen anything that truly shows me how he views art from his own creative lens. I haven't seen the story. I haven't seen the narrative. I haven't seen the piece that says, "This is my vision." So naturally, I'm curious. If all of these ideas are as powerful as he believes they are, then at some point, I expect he'll put something on the table. At some point, he'll create something that reveals exactly where he stands and exactly what perspective he's been trying to communicate all along. And honestly, that should be very interesting to watch. Until then, I have noticed some positive changes. His tone has adjusted. Our meetings have become noticeably smoother. The collaboration feels less combative and more constructive. And I would be lying if I said it didn't help that I've occasionally added a little something extra to my coffee before some of these meetings. Because let's just say, patience is a valuable skill, and some meetings require a little more of it than others.